Hi everyone, this is Kapil Mehrotra. I work as a group CTO in NCML. Today, I'm going to discuss something about why AI projects fail and what needs to be done to make it better. First of all, why AI is important. If you look at in today's era, the amount of data that is getting generated by both human and machine, that is humongous. And artificial needs some form of data to run their algorithms, computer learnings, machine learnings to basically decide the complex architecture. If I talk why AI is required, if you look at the fraud detection, virtual customer assistance, chatbot, autonomous cars, robotics, everywhere AI is required. Reason is because it is having the power. Basis on that, it can take the decision. But those algorithms, we have to write. We have to feed into the system accordingly. What all the things are surround you, basically, where day-to-day life, you are the part of it. Google search is one of them. Email spam filter. Everywhere we are using this, which can predict what is basically good or bad. Social media. Social media is around you, and everything, every search they are tracking, every your interest they are tracking. So that's the power of a social media. Whether you talk for the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they keep basically looking your choice of interest, the type of search what you do, and accordingly they are basically bringing the content in front of you. That's the power of AI. And iOS and Android based application. Now these days it's era of startup. So many startups are coming and they are bringing new kind of applications for you. And believe me, they are basically data intensive. So the more data you are generating through the apps, they are basically predicting more, and they are doing the more forecastings. Cars. So many companies, so many autonomous companies, and so many mechanical and automatic cars are now these days coming. They are basically following machine learning, artificial intelligence. To look at around AC, smart TV, internet, and so many IoT devices which you are using, your micro oven, your fridge, your smart watches, these all are the part of the AI. So these kind of day-to-day gadgets, day-to-day technology you are using surround. Moving on, uh, whenever we talk about technology, so I have some thought in my mind. Technology has given us power. AI has added more value in the power. We should not worry about technology, but what should we worry about? Users of technology. That's the main important point. Technology can be used in any sector, and same technology can be used by cyber criminals as well. So we are thinking, we are stopping, we are having best of the best solutions, but believe me, cyber criminals are also following AI and they're using same technology. So they are also behind you. Tool is only enabler. Tool can be enhance our life and perspective, but the actual user are you. You have to basically adopt the way you live. So I have a thought, if data is new oil, then AI can be electricity. So it's a hand in hand business. With this, like, I want to talk about the failure features of the projects. Whenever we talk about AI, so many times we are hearing AI projects doesn't go well. Similar like when the SAP introduced first time, so many times like we were hearing the projects getting failed. Similarly, like AI, whenever AI is coming in the move, so many projects are getting failed. So let's put the focus. What is the reason of the failure? Artificial intelligence is currently the hot buzzword in tech industry, but still number of the projects get failed because of various reasons. Number one, poor quality of data. We don't know the source. We don't know. So it's a very basic thumb rule in the IT, garbage in, garbage out. If your data is not in order, so you will never ever get right results. And inadequately trained professionals, of course, you need a very skilled resources for the AI projects. No clear objective. What you want to achieve, something you have vision, you have seen in a movie, or you thought something in the dream and you decided to basically implement. It's not like that. You should be very clear with your objective, which area, which kind of a people, which kind of technology, what project, what subject you are picking up for this. Use of the wrong technology, sometime intentionally or non-intentionally we pick up wrong technology. There are definitely financial impacts are there. Sometimes we look the advantages of using freewares, or we don't know whether they are successful or not, but we are. Similarly, sometimes we don't know what is the right technology to meet with the objectives what I have. So that may be the one of the reasons. That is why so many startups getting failed. But it doesn't mean they can't survive. They can survive if they follow a structured behavior. So with here, I will share a very good thought. The only time you must not fail is the last time you tried. So failure is not the end. Failure is basically, I would say, the starting point. It will be gives you more idea, more energy, more flexibility to move on. So how we can basically avoid failure? Avoid one size fit all approach. First of all, see, we being in India, we always think, okay, let's start a project. It is something like that. We have a 15-year legacy data. We have a technology, best of the technology place, and let's start something like that. I would say one size cannot fit. So if let's say I wear t-shirt of medium size, so definitely who is having better build, he cannot basically fit in the medium size. So the same kind of concept applies along with the AI. So if you think you have a 15-year-old data, if you have best of the best technology place, so this approach doesn't work. There are you have to take very structured approach for that. And rather jumping straight away on the approach, you have to do the research. What exactly are you looking for, right? Once you clear with your research, I'm giving you an example. Let's say I want to automate my invoicing process. So I'm very clear. There, I want to eliminate human intervention. I have added one parameter, human intervention. So I would say robotic invoicing process, right? This can be achieved. So now these days, all ERPs supported by this objective. So we are very clear. Similarly, automated call center, no human being. So it means we have to feed a lot of research there so that they can perform, they can act, they can think, and they can respond to the end users, right? So that's kind of a strong research we needed. Data should be well structured. If you have 15-year-old data legacy, very good. AI needs that, but it has to be structured. It should not have the garbage. Actually, you have to clean it up at first level, right? And then label data sheet. Don't forget this term, label data sheet. Label data sheet means these are my primary data sets. I'm giving an example. For example, cancer, right? Lung cancer, cancer in brain, right? So these all are the labeled structure. When I am running the algorithm, and if you are not labeled your data, so you will get a lot of information which might be not required for that prediction. Got it? So your data has to be labeled. Structured legacy data. So as I told you, you must be having 20 years data, 15 years data, 10 years data, but it has to be little structured. So you have to create a data warehouse which can basically share the information, share the data accordingly, what queries you are running behind that, what algorithm you are running behind that. So now coming to the point, skilled professionals, of course, to support entire project, you need a skilled professionals. Otherwise, like you will again delayed by the project timelines, or you may be failed. Clear requirements or objectives. This is very initial stage. You need this information. Reason is because if your requirement is not well drafted, your objectives are not clear, so you may not achieve the end objective. Right technology. Once you will ready with all these structured data, labeled data, skilled professional requirements, so technology should not be the bottleneck for you. You can use any tool. So there are a number of the tools are basically available around, so you can use that. Coming to the last point, sufficient fund. Until unless you are not having funds, you are not, if you don't have sponsor for the project, certainly you cannot move forward. So I would say you should have sufficient fund to survive at least for the next 2 years, because AI projects are not basically short-term projects. AI is a learning and implementation game. Again, learning and implementation. It means you are maturing your algorithms, you're maturing your product output, right? It is like that. So every time you have to research and implement, because you can think about 100 parameters, right? But if you will talk to 10 other people, they will give you 300 more parameters. So it's a learning and maturing your product and algorithm. So that's a process. So for that, your survival period has to be longer, and that has to be supported by finance. So that will eliminate the possibility of the failure. Do the diligence, you definitely can do that, how much fund you need it and for how long you need it, or you can basically break your project into sprints, small sprints, so that like you can start revenue coming, so that like you can survive on that revenue and you can sustain and mature your product in a year or 2 years. Generally, in my experience, AI projects take some time. First of all, it goes in a small community, then community gives feedback, and then you will give more bigger community, and then so on. That way it goes on. So one of the very common question asked every time, AI development in-house versus outsource. Should we have AI development team in-house or outsource? Very good question. But AI development is actually, if you look at AI development is speeding up now these days, which will push more business to adopt the technology. But it is important to remember that artificial intelligence is not a short-term investment. It is a long-term expertise. In-house development involves having your team with necessary IT skills, of course, and abilities, and everything would be fine. But often the maintenance of such a team is a serious load of the company budget. How? Because every time you have to give salary and the increment and the promotions, all those things will be the part of the objective. Sometimes it's also impact the IT project budget actually if you're not incorporated. Although in some cases in-house development will be cheaper, because if they are smaller projects, no long-term projects, external resources are not working. So, but I would always suggest, and I always like outsourcing for such, because AI is a long-term project, and I have seen the other side of the coin is, because there are a lot of advantages outsourcing this project is. Coming to that point, advantages of building AI project in-house. Yes, of course, customization anytime. This is your baby, so anytime you can customize, right? Today, tomorrow, or somebody said, boss, this is the new functionality, also you should have it, or any feedback you got it from the customer, you can incorporate very well. So you have a control of a code, you can change anytime. Ownership, your property, IP is your property. Lack of expertise is one of the bottleneck for you. high cost because you are managing infrastructure, you are managing resources in-house. That is why your cost will go up. People think having resources infrastructure is very cheap. No, because there are other peripheries are involved. Your real estate cost is added because your infrastructure is lying there. Your sitting place where every resource is sitting and costing, right? Your AC. So these costs really hits you, right? That is why people always say, okay, let's outsource. Outsource, whenever we outsource projects, so if you look at the ROI, AI projects ROI, so they will cover up in 3 years to 5 years time, and they will give you a lot of benefit also. The first benefit of this is leading AI experts. So whenever you outsource, you should not worry about having the expertise or developing the expertise or training to the experts, right? All those things are not your problem. So outsource companies, they are work for that. Actually, day night, their job is. So for them, this is very beneficial. Cost effectiveness, of course, later on, you will get more benefit once you basically ready with the projects, your cost will be controlled. Current liabilities, there will be no current liabilities in that case because all the liabilities you will park to the outsource companies. Risk reduction, because every risk you will also outsource to them. Every time in IT, we always look for the risk. So we can also minimize our risk having resources in-house. Let's say you develop the project and what needs to be done now and how you will basically make them engage for the next projects and when it is coming, the new project. So here your risk is zero. Reason is because you are basically outsourced your risk. It's not your problem. You have given a project timelines to them. You are reading those timelines, reviewing those timelines, and you are basically following that. So higher flexibility. Yes, of course, you can basically add and reduce resources anytime. You can add and remove any functionality anytime. So that's flexibility is always in your hand. Get more research or consultation inputs, of course, because that's their day and night job. So they will also share a lot of resources, new functionalities, consultations with you. So that's what is the advantage. That's why, like in my opinion, personal opinion, we should basically go by AI projects outsourcing. Now, I want to talk about more AI best practices. So one of the latest Google acquisition which I want to talk, that's a game changer in auto industry. Why? Because Google is having the expertise of cloud, AI, ML, data analytics, and Ford is basically looking for such kind of, expertise. Ford is kind of a number one, right? 120 years operation of Ford. After that, they are looking for Google support. And I believe my research says Ford has also very best of the best technology in place because they are into automation and they are cash rich. They have a very old working history, but still they are looking for. Why? The reason behind is automaker is looking for digital transformation, not 20-30%, 100% makeover they are looking for. 100% means what it covers: the modernization, customer experience, product development, manufacturing, and supply chain, including exploration of using Vision AI for manufacturing, employee training, and even more reliable plant equipment performance. Not only that, fast track the implementation of data-driven business model, resulting in customer receiving real-time notice, which such as maintenance request or trade in alert. So they are looking end-to-end product to be customized. Whenever you're buying a car, Ford knows what is your taste. Now coming back to my last case study, and this is very close to my heart. Whenever I want to set a new strategy, I look for this. Yes, I'm going to talk more about that. AI improved Netflix customers. So everybody knows, like, use AI, you can build your customer base. That's a very basic thing everybody talks about. But what Netflix brings in different binge viewing concept. Please Google it, search this concept. That's a very new word you will find. Binge viewing is a methodology which says how to retain a customer, how to bring back customer. It's not applies only on a digital thing. It can be applied in a tire industry, manufacturing industry, food industry. How I can bring back my customer, because competition is cutthroat. But I want to retain my customer. So what service he wants, what is his liking, what is his disliking is. That's what they are talking about. So that concept is called binge viewing. Please read this concept, go in deep, and that will help you a lot in the business. That's why I like Netflix, because they are innovator. They every month they doing some innovation, which I learned, and always changing my strategy, whatever I'm making, whatever domain I am. That is why I also see some growth and value added services from IT to the business. That is why people in my company loves me. I'm not basically sitting idle and watching TV. I love Netflix because they apply always new concept. So AI algorithm to find user addiction and behavior. That's what is the binge viewing. Find out user addiction and behavior, translate into the algorithm, make a one package and offer the product. If you don't have product, change the product. So what Netflix has done, Netflix has given the threat to the Hollywood, international media, channels, and created own aura. What type of content user want? Accordingly, Netflix have introduced new series, right? Series 1, part 1, 2, 3, 4. Part 1, whenever you are finishing part 1, 8 episodes, you will always wait for the next episode to come, because I wanted to retain and renew my next month's subscription. That is why they are holding the series 2. Production, they do in a one go, but they are releasing in the installments, those series, and they are making money. So let's say season 1 you watch in this month, you have to wait for the season 2 and 10 episode of the season 2 next 3 months down the line. Why? I know your choice. I have your data. I know what you want, because I'm running continuous algorithm, what you are searching on my portal, what you are searching on Google. I have captured your entire interest, and accordingly I built a content, right, which I'm offering you. That is why you will renew my next month subscription. That's my business model. That's my binge viewing concept, which I have applied. So Netflix have introduced their services on the OTT platform, and not only that, they have introduced new concept as well. Anywhere, anytime, whatever you want, number of times, on any demand. It means I want to sit at home, I want to basically travel, I am traveling, I want to see there, I want to basically move somewhere, I'm sitting in a coffee shop. Number of times I like this movie, so I want to watch 3 times. So no need to pay extra money to the box office. You can sit at home, you can watch number of times. I'm not asking, I'm only asking for the monthly rental, 199 rupees. Getting it? So, or maybe $5, $10 in US. So that's what is their concept is. That's why they are number 1, binge viewing concept. And binge viewing is the part of the algorithm, and they keep searching what user want, Indian user want, or maybe Indonesia, or maybe US, or maybe Pakistan, or maybe some country, and they are mixing it and building the content there. Moving on further, having powerful data and content bank and customer feedback, Netflix have built another new strategy. But they never becomes number 1, I say. I mean, they are number 1, but they are not number 1 kind of like different products. Uh, Reason is because they always want to sustain and ahead. That's what is their objective is, right? Sustain and ahead means early adoption, early launch of the product, and becomes number one in that space and take the more advantage of it. So that your user will always stick with you. Whenever you are offering, giving new offerings to your users, they will stick with you, they will love you. And this you can basically get with the help of a lot of feedbacks. You have to honor and you have to develop your own content. So they have introduced three principles after binge viewing. What principles? Device pricing. If you have different devices, laptop, mobile, TV, non-smart TV, normal TV, so everywhere prices change. So they have ended up all the wars. And then they have second thing they have introduced quality pricing. If you want HD quality, it's fine. You have to pay $7.99. If you want lower quality, okay, $1.99. So according to the quality, they have changed, right? Mobile viewer is fine. They don't require HD quality. They need only normal quality. And sometimes your network is not a high speed, so you can move on a lower quality. So all type of users they were tapping. They were not basically making you frustrate because they did research and they were having feedbacks and they have incorporated. So they have introduced. Now, third point is what third strategy they build end-to-end concept and all AI. Boss, nobody is going and have you ever contacted to Netflix and saying that, hey, you don't have this or you don't have this? No, there is no direct feedback of yours. Whatever you are sharing or your peers, your friends or your neighbors are sharing social medias, they are searching on a Google or searching on other platforms, they are collecting that data and researching it and running the AI algorithm to build the next level of the products. So they have already a lot of things in the next 10 years line, right? What users want and how they can provide, what kind of network will be available in India or Pakistan or China or other country. Accordingly, they are fixing those things. Now coming to the third strategy, end-to-end game. Means if anybody or production house is not giving any content to them, they're asking more money. Let's say yes, Raj saying is, okay, this movie, if I launch on the Netflix, you have to pay me the royalty of this much. They said, okay, go off. I don't want this business from you. I will build my own content. And this has happened exactly. They created own production house and they started building. So and that's why they say end-to-end game. Device pricing, quality pricing, end-to-end game. That is the game changer. And how they are so confident on this? Because they are having data in his house. Powerful data, research, they are running the algorithm. They know the prediction. They know what user want. Having all these things, still why Netflix is not number one in India? Because Alt Balaji offering 1 month subscription in 34 rupees, it's okay because people are so money conscious. Why we have to pay 199 rupees per month? Rather, I can basically pay 34. It's fine. So users are splitting. MX player decided, okay, no fee, only ads revenue. I want to more business. So they have done algorithm and they have realized this. I can't fight Balaji, I can't fight Netflix or Sony Live. They said, I will survive only revenue. How they decide? How Alt Balaji decide? AI. Because everyone is running and studying the demand, what Indian users are looking for. And accordingly, they are building the product. Accordingly, more companies are coming because they are more innovative. And they know Alt Balaji 34 rupees, MX Player free, Sony Live better content. So what they will offer? So they will offer next level of the demand of the user, feedback of the user. So boss, it's all AI game. So with this, I will take a pause here. Thank you so much hearing me for this particular session and all the best. Thank you very much.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.